I'm going to open up Flex because we can't build a dictionary app without a dictionary. So it is possible for you to work with either WeSay or another tool out there that's developed in Mali called Lexique Pro. And you can use either of those to produce a dictionary for a dictionary app builder, but it's not as configurable as if you do it in Flex. Yeah. As I understand it, most of you have spent at least some time in Flex. I'm just going to go over a little bit because there are a few important places. The first part is the lexicon edit. And I hope each of you has brought a Flex database. Go ahead and pull it up on your machines if you can. Pull up your Flex database, because we're going to be browsing around here and we're going to be playing with dictionary configuration. So this is an example project that was actually created intentionally with a bunch of mistakes in it that I created for some folks back in Dallas from another project. So you will see English mistakes on here. Those were intentional. So let's go to help about on Flex. I'm on version 907. As I said in the email, the latest version is 9.011. Does everyone have at least 8.3? I'd be concerned if there's anybody that has 8.2 because you won't be able to follow along. And the reason I'm asking for 8.3 is I'm going to go to Tools, Configure Dictionary. You can follow along with me and do that. Tools, Configure Dictionary. This dialog box has been completely redesigned between 8.2.9 and 8.3 of Flex. This dictionary has 254 entries. And as I said, we don't have any apps ready to create in Dictionary App Builder. So we're going to export out a dictionary. So I'm going to go in the Flex database to File, Export. And that pulls up, actually before that, this is a configured, we're going to be exporting a configured dictionary. So that means that if I go to the dictionary view here, what I'm exporting is going to look an awful lot like what you're seeing here in the dictionary view. We will come back to dictionary configuration in a moment, but you're going to build one copy of your dictionary just as is, and then we'll come back and we'll start playing in Flex. So I'm going to make sure that I don't have any filters enabled here, because if I were to filter right now and be only showing the things that start with A, for example, when I exported the dictionary, it would only export the things that start with A. Now that can be useful, because if, for example, you wanted to hide all of the proper nouns in your dictionary before exporting, then you could play with the grammatical category or grammatical info here, and you could tell it, I want everything but proper nouns, and then when you exported it, you would get everything that was not a proper noun. So it is important that it is a configured dictionary. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to go to Export, File, Export. And I'm going to start with Configured Dictionary, Web Page X HTML. I'm sure all of you are familiar with HTML. XHTML is just a more structured version of HTML. And I'm going to export. And when I click export, it's going to ask me where I want to save it. In your documents folder, we're going to just create a new folder. New folder. And I'm going to name it the name of the project. And so I'm naming this Resembly Export because my project is Resembly. And I'm going to name the export Resembly. So I am saving it as Resembly, and it will save it as resembly.xhtml, currently into my Documents Resembly export folder. I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to show you what that just created. It actually opens up the folder so you can see it. I'm just going to open this in Chrome, and we'll see what that export looks like. You'll see that it's a web page that it looks an awful lot like your dictionary. So when you export, the first thing it does is it opens up the folder where you had just exported. And you can double click on the XHTML file, the one that is not the CSS file, and you can open it up in your browser. It may grab Edge, it may grab Firefox, it may grab Internet Explorer, it doesn't matter, but we'll show you what your dictionary looks like. So yeah, we have just opened it up in a browser window because all of Android apps are written using web technology. This will be transformed and brought into your dictionary.